Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile Real Estate, where we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. We hope you go along on that mission with us. And I want to talk about something fun today. And this is kind of a fun video, right? This is like a little tongue-in-cheek, a little bit venting, but kind of a fair amount of truth to this. So today we're going to talk about 5 things that really annoy your realtor. 5 things that you do as a buyer and sometimes as a seller too that are especially annoying and might even get you fired as a client. So before we begin though, I want to say it is very rare that we have ever fired clients and ever had to do that. It has happened. Most of the time, if it's not a good match and a good working relationship, we can recognize that up front at the beginning and save everybody a lot of trouble. But here are the 5 things that we find the most annoying. So number 5, and this is actually a big one, even though it's number 5 on the list, that is working with 2 agents at the same time. So when you work with a realtor like us or like anybody else, we do not get paid until a transaction closes. Now, I wholly recommend that you interview multiple agents and you find somebody to work with that you really like. I'm not against that interviewing. That's great. But at some point, you do have to pick someone. You can't lead both agents on, because what happens is if these agents find out that you're doing this, and inevitably they will find this out unless you lie to them, which is even worse, what you'll end up with is 2 agents that give you half service. And really, that's not fair to you. It's not fair to the agents, and the outcome isn't going to be good. So number 5, do not work with 2 agents at the same time. Number 4 on our list, asking to see properties on super short notice. Now, I'm not talking about that situation where a home comes on the market and there's only one day to see it and everybody's got to get in there. It's a hot market. That happens. We know it. What I'm talking about is a home has been on the market 2 weeks. You didn't respond to the last 3 emails saying, I think we should see this one. And an hour before you ask, is there any way we can see it in the next hour and a half? That is asking for showings at the last minute. You want to try to avoid that. We want to make ourselves available to our clients as much as possible. But honestly, when it becomes last minute, we might already be booked. We might be showing properties with another client who asked us several days ago about seeing various properties. And in that case, we have to give that client the nod first. So as soon as there is something that you like and you have interest in it, let's work together to find a time to do that. So number 3 on our list of things that really annoy your realtor: calling and texting late at night for non-emergencies. Now, even though we might appear like robots operating with the utmost precision, the fact is most agents do have some semblance of a life, albeit a very small one sometimes. Sometimes we have families and things also. Now, I'm not saying don't reach out if there's an emergency on something. But for example, calling and texting at 11 o'clock at night, asking if it's okay to put your middle initial on a contract or to leave it off, not an emergency. We can handle that in the morning, or we could have handled it earlier in the evening. So definitely save those emergency late night calls for the real emergencies, like when we're trying to negotiate a deal or we're trying to get something sewn up. Then totally okay, totally fine. But for non-emergencies, try to make those during some semblance of normal business hours. Most realtors do have families. They do have some kind of social life-ish. So that is number 3. Number 2, and this one's huge. Realtors have what's called a fiduciary relationship. That means we are legally obligated to act on your behalf. So when you hold back crucial information, when you don't tell us the whole truth about a situation, we're on your team. We are here to help and work for you. That is not only our job and our oath, but it is also a fiduciary duty. It is a legal obligation. So you need to give us as much information as possible so that we can best represent you. So when we find out that somebody's been holding out information on us, that's really a tough situation because we don't have all the tools that we need to do a good job for you. And the number one thing that will annoy your realtor, the number one thing, especially for me, is being late. And it's not that I am just a super stickler for being on time. It's that frequently, especially right now in competitive markets, we have to schedule showings. It takes hours to put these together. We oftentimes only get 15 minutes. Things run on a very tight schedule, and being late really can sort of shake that up and mess things up. A lot of times we might have multiple clients we're working with in one day, and you being late might actually affect further appointments for other people. We're trying to make everybody happy. We're trying to be everywhere and do everything and give everybody the attention they deserve. All that we ask is that you try to be on time. And if you're not going to be on time, the time to say that you're running 15 minutes late isn't when you're already 15 minutes late. It's as soon as you know you're going to be late. And guess what? We know things come up. Nobody's expected to be perfect on this front, but just making a cognitive effort is important. And now that I've talked about the 5 things that really annoy your realtor, I'm going to tell you the number one thing that will just make your realtor happy. At least this is true for me. And that is any words of appreciation. I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds like realtors have really fragile egos. We do most of the time, to be honest. But any words of encouragement, if there's something and you're appreciative because you know we worked our butts off to do something for you, to get something set up, to get you documents late, whatever the situation is, even just a simple thank you means so much in the world. It greatly enhances our relationship. It helps us do a really great job for you, which is what we want to do, right? Like we want to do the best job possible. So that's it. 5 things that really annoy your realtor, and the one thing that is totally appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Stephen Meade for Domicile Real Estate. If you are looking to buy or sell any real estate in Southern California and you'd like to work with us, we would love to chat with you. Definitely hit us up. There is a link down in the description to sign up for a 15-minute, no cost, no obligation call. Best way to get in touch with us, probably. You can also call or email. We have that information as well. And we'll see you again real soon.